Friday in a frame, screens glow softly, builders by name. Governance talk, not a corporate game. Decentralized minds, all aiming the same. Push to the set repo, ideas on the wire. Merge or revise, that's how we conspire. No suits, no boss, just code and desire. Consensus and rhythm, truth in the choir. Under the hood we engage and refine. Every commit, a new design. Governance flowing, elegant lines. Sips in session, keeping time. Static on the mic, someone takes the floor. Let's break that loop, optimize more. Notes in the doc, pull requests in store. Decentralized future, open core. Some chase fame, we chase function. Every diff, a quiet junction. Autonomy hums, no corruption. Code is the art, coordination, education. In the hood, ideas collide. Engage, evolve, we build with pride. From call to code, the chains alive. Sips in session, future in stride. Sip call fades, but the repo remains. Jazz in the logic, truth in the chain. Sip call spinning up, Friday in the frame. Screens glow softly, builders by name. Governance talk, not a corporate game. Decentralized minds, all aiming the same. Push to the set repo, ideas on the wire. Merge or revise, that's how we conspire. No suits, no boss, just code and desire. Consensus and rhythm, truth in the choir. Under the hood we engage and refine. Every commit, a new design. Governance flowing, elegant lines. Sips in session, keeping time. Static on the mic, someone takes the floor. Let's break that loop, optimize more. Notes in the doc, pull requests in store. Decentralized future, open core.
Autonomy hums and no corruption. Great words. I'm not sure how they were generated, by the way. If that's all off Hero's Dome, or exactly whether it was just a collaborative effort with his many AI models. But I love this song created for the SIP show by Hero Gamer himself, and the man is in the house today. Hello, Hero. How are you today, sir? You with us?
Hello?
Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Yeah, sorry, I was just muted. Yeah, great. Feeling good today. How about you?
I am feeling good, actually. I've been, getting a lot of things achieved, a lot of things accomplished, both personal life, real life, and with DeOrganized ourselves. I might be a little amped up because of the extra adrenaline rush I got from losing power for about 45 minutes while I was trying to prepare for the show this morning. That always gets me rushed a little bit. But
What happened there? Is there like
I don't even know. I can only speculate based on the sound of sirens that there was an accident, but I don't know. And I never got a report. And I was actually like, I was actually feeling like I might have a problem because it lasted a long time, and I couldn't even find out from the electric company. Like it was rough. It was challenging, but we persevered. We got it done. And we got a great show run. We got our first Stacks Market weekly market resolved today, and another launch today. We're going to be doing with DeOrganized a light partnership with ICE and the crew over at Stacks Market. We're going to do a weekly market presentation here, and it'll be a open. The prior market will close right as we launch the show, and then the new market will launch right around 9 when we're done with the news. So it'll be a nice little weekly ritual for new markets. And if anyone has an idea, because we can pretty much dictate what we want to see for markets, although I'm probably going to do some simple ones right now so that it can be used as a way to just introduce how to use it to our community and whatnot. But that went well. We did actually shout out the Clarity 5 vote that is ongoing right now. Actually, I can share that.
I heard about the prediction market thing. I didn't know you guys were doing the weekly thing, so it's good that you called me up.
Yeah, well, it's a work in progress. They're still just building out their product too. It's all new for them, and they're tweaking. We were actually going to launch it a couple weeks ago. We were going to do it on Mondays, but our model has changed a little bit, and they got delayed because they were working on some issues with their contracts. And that's how it is when we're actually building out in public. We get to actually get different kind of input and feedback than if we're all just in our own little holes building without talking to people about what we're building. So huge shout out to ICE, what he's developed. We're excited about that. And we're super appreciative to be included here at DeOrganized as a part of it. And but on to the clarity. The people need to be participating in this vote. I don't remember what the is it 80 million stacks that need to be voted to get a quorum?
Yeah. I mean, in fact, let's go to the SIP itself so that we can teach people how to find that information.
All right. So
it's almost like I can just tell people, but I think it's better that
it's way better.
People,
yes.
There's a way to verify themselves in some capacity,
Right, and contribute too.
Yeah. So if you go to pull request. Yep. And this vote is based on SIP 39. So if you scroll down a little bit, it's Clarity 5. Yes.
That's this one. And it could be confusing because this is actually a pull request for the tech cap in their deliberation about this SIP, which is actually probably worth looking at, by the way.
Yeah, we will get to that today as well. We'll go over the SIP vote, go over a little bit the status of Zenitron's stuff, and somebody else, I think it's Paper to Screen, posted some suggestions in the PR.
Nice.
And then we had a question about the node stuff. Somebody actually posted a reply, so we'll go over that too today. But yeah, that's good. You're right. Like, this is why GitHub is difficult to navigate. Like, in a typical like project management thing, it'll be probably be like SIP39 as the main task, and then the SIP39 tech cap stuff would be like a subtask,
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, this is not like the easiest thing to navigate. However, there's nothing we can do to change it. But
No,
we
but
know.
it's designed for It's designed for engaging on and contributing in code for coding.
Yeah, exactly.
And so right, and I understand it a lot better now than I did a few weeks ago, because I'm writing my own code and I'm putting it into my own GitHub, and I understand what a PR is actually for now.
Yeah, it's, you just kind of have to slowly get used to it, I guess. Like I'm pretty sure there are some like other apps that probably put like a wrapper over it, maybe makes it easier. But like on its own, like, this is the most popular way to UI UX that you just get used to it. It will come,
Yeah, no, and I just like anything else, when it's new and it's unfamiliar, it's a little uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable and work through some of the challenges. And pretty much in any circumstance in life, when you actually move through those challenges and get and work on it, and don't mind putting the work in and being uncomfortable for a little bit, the payoff is you do understand, and you can.
Well, 100%. Like, I didn't even know what Markdown is. Markdown, and probably still new to people, but it's just it's just the way they write the text file.
Well,
little things here and there you got pick up. But I learned that like over the past few years, and now when I'm vibe coding, like, everything sort of, it helps me, to not have to worry about that.
Exactly. Like, specific to the term Markdown, I've understood what that meant for a while, but I didn't know. I thought it was actually just copy for what you were gonna actually then like put into something. I didn't realize that it was like that a .md was just a Markdown document.
It's so weird. I was really confused at the beginning. I thought, isn't it TXT? Like, but it's .md. That's how it is. There's no way around.
Both. You can use both, but .md is really more for like what you're dropping when you're dropping textual code, so to speak.
Yeah, I even wrote a thread about it because I just want to share my own journey in learning all these little phrases, but I'll share you later. But yeah, let's go to files changed.
Yes. Okay, so
there's all the conversation you can check, but let's just look for. We were talking about, what you asked me, what percentage, right? So just scroll down. This type of sort of meta information is a little bit at the bottom. Like, the top is almost like the specification, and the bottom are lesser important stuff. Like, if you scroll up a little bit, it should say right there, 80 million stacked, and 80% of which should be in favor, meaning.
Right.
Yeah. So you should have at least 8 times 8, 64 million signal. Yes. And then you need like almost like a separate box that have 80 millions of unstacked stacks. So unstacked STX, it just basically means stacks in your wallet that's not locked up. So just unlock, not locked up STX that also vote But you could have like, because that one didn't specify the exact STX amount. So even if we did have 100 STX turnout for the unlocked STX, as long as 80 of those STX are for, then those under these two conditions, then the vote would be sufficient to be activated as a community signaling yes.
Oh, so is it both of these conditions?
Yes.
Or either. Okay, so you have to.
I mean, we can word it more precisely if we want to, but yeah, like that. This is the idea, and the idea, I guess, comes from we want to, because the lock stacks probably would come from lots of early adopters, let's say, you know, and they tend to be like bigger influences. Could be exchanges, could be just individual whales, could be early OGs, etc. And everybody has some SCX locked and some SCX unlocked, and you kind of want to get a sense of everybody across the board, because the whole point of it is to get an indication from all around the community that say, you know, this is just indication engagement exercise, if you like. And Bitcoin doesn't even do this. They do it by just conversations, funny enough. But
yeah, it almost seems like too vulnerable to me. Because
no, it's the Bitcoiners call it it's a feature, not a bug.
Sure, because maybe that's, you know, maybe that there's benefits and drawbacks, and Bitcoin has a different set of challenges too. So
yeah,
but
have you seen a meme from the the president of France, Macron? He's like, this is like steady, this is slow, but it's surely, you know, this is how Bitcoin is. Like it's less changes but more predictable, and that's just gonna be the way it is for the foreseeable future. But my point is, for example, if you do have a new person coming to Stacks, like a new onboarding, and then everybody hasn't put their SCX into stacking, they are almost like I think the best way to think about it is they are almost like the new citizens to our country, per se, and they haven't got their they haven't put their US dollar into their bank account to earn interest yet. You can almost think of people who are stacking. They have committed their residency to Stacks. They put their US dollar in the Stack state, you know, the Stacks nation, locked up so that it's illiquid. Well, they can swap it for stacking DAO, liquid STX. That's another thing. But for all intent and purposes, they have committed in a big way. Whereas people who have unlocked, you know, STX in this, you know, bringing new US dollar to this nation, they still can go in and out of this nation. They don't have to live here. But one of the ways to show commitment to the network, to show you have skin in the game, is by having it locked up. So, but we also don't want those newer citizens to not hear their voice, per se, right? So this is why you almost always kind of want to hear from the newer citizens. Oh, not newer, but could be a mix of both. But just directionally speaking, you could, yeah, there's a bigger mix, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think it totally makes sense. And so it's only one process, by the way. So when you go vote, if you have both stacked and unstacked stacks in your wallet, you're voting both of them in one transaction, which is an improvement from where we were about a year ago.
We were having different tracks, and you had to vote separately. It was kind of little bit
Much friction.
yeah, friction. So we try to remove that every year. Something less of friction every vote.
So, according to this, and just to summarize, stacked stacks, at least 80 million stacked stacks must vote for the vote to be considered valid. That's a quorum that is necessary for the vote to be considered valid. Regardless of anything else, if we don't get 80 million stacked stacks voting, the vote can't pass. 80% of all the stacked stacks that vote. So if it's 100 million stacks to vote, we need 80 million of them to vote yes to pass it. If it's 80, then we need 64 million, and so on and so on. So 80% yes vote of this total stacked STX voted must be a yes vote to pass. And then you also need, there's no quorum for unstacked stacks for liquid STX, but 80% of all STX, all liquid STX that votes must also vote yes. So if there's a scenario where like 10 million, 80 million STX, stacked STX vote, 64, so let's say 70 million of them vote yes, 10 million unstacked stacks vote, and only 60 million of those actually vote yes, that would actually potentially stop the vote from passing.
Stop the release of the software from happening. Not stop the vote, but it would make us have a pause and say, okay, what's wrong? Why are people voting against this? Is it because we didn't amplify enough and then like educate the people enough, or is it like there's actually some bugs in there that really people really didn't like and that wasn't voiced early enough, or there wasn't enough conversation to resolve people's issues? For example, like when you guys have the cap vote for the governance cap, like let's say it was done in over a day and somebody from the community found out there is actually a critical issue that not enough conversation have happened to resolve that, he may choose to vote no for whatever reason, but it's actually not an issue that of concern. It's just he probably just haven't had enough conversation yet or heard from the devs a good enough answer. Like he technically can vote no. So that's why, like, the earlier that community have a discussion, that's why Bryce keeps telling us that if anybody is against the ad block removal, please let us know, or please let them know. Right. Because these kind of conversation can then be had and resolved earlier before this SIP community vote happens. But I think luckily in the Stacks history that, we tend to have enough conversation earlier on. So that should eliminate most of the no's later on, or unquestioned, unresolved questions.
Right. And that makes sense too. Like, it's just, these are mechanisms here in place most of the time when we're proposing something like Clarity 5. It's already been rigorously worked around. There's been a ton of conversation about it, but we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity. And so the vote is kind of like that final chance to if you missed the conversation and you need to have more conversation, or you can vote no. But you're better off getting involved earlier in the process than trying to vote no at the last minute, because most of the communities engaged in that process, especially those that are participating in the vote, they already know, or they already have, there's a lot of trust in the system too, right? like we trust that the core devs are doing their due diligence and their homework, and that the mechanisms are already effective checks and balances and whatnot. So you know,
that's right.
step.
That's right. And I would say if you're really gonna vote no at this stage, you could. However, if it's something that potentially can be resolved, that is just it's just an unanswered question that makes you action a no, I would rather see you post that question on the forum directly to get a resolution, or on the pull request itself, and try to get an answer before you cast your no vote. Um, that would be a productive way to raise that concern before the vote concludes, and then you can still change your mind, um, 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 running up to the closure of the vote. In fact, actually, why don't you search for a website, since you're already sharing screen sharing? Do you want to search on X? It's something called Consensus Health. Consensus Health.
It's an account on X.
Yeah, just go to X and then just search in the box Consensus.
Shameless Bitflow plug. Bitflow.finance. Where we go that? All right. Here,
actually, I can drop you the link.
What was it? Consensus Health?
Yeah. It's like somebody spun up maybe vibe coded a website for Bitcoin consensus, and it's actually really interesting way to gauge Bitcoin consensus, because they don't do token voting. And I voted in there too. You can see me there. You found it?
Do you have the @ handle? Do you know what is it @ consensus Health?
I sent you the DM.
All right. Consensus.health. That's what it is.
So this website shows you, like, it's essentially their way of voting. It's something really, really new. And with this one, if you actually log in with that,
okay, yes, go on.
On the top, you can actually vote for or against or something, but you can actually switch to different ones as you see fit. So when you change your mind, you can actually switch camp.
So this is tracking based on X posts.
Yes.
How people are in what people are supporting. This is specifically for BIP 110.
Yeah, which is a fork of Bitcoin. This guy, it's a mess over in Bitcoin land. But you can actually, it's not tracking it. You can actually vote on the top, like for or against, and you should appear on one of those tiles.
Now I know you're against, which automatically leads me without knowing. So what is BIP 110? Briefly, I know it's not the.
Briefly is essentially people who believe Bitcoin should only be money and only money. That's it. No, like, freedom of doing different variations.
No programmability beyond finance.
Yes. No programmability beyond money. It should be just buying coffee, and that's it. Don't do like no ordinals. People shouldn't store data, on Bitcoin. JPEG. I mean, JPEG is just data. Like, it's just hex. Really, it's just data. It's just strings of text. People believe that's a waste of Bitcoin storage. Should not happen. So they want to make Bitcoin much more restricted, all over the place in the code, basically, so that you can do less, and people cannot just come up with new ideas to store new type of data. Therefore, it helps, from their point of view, node runners to have their sovereignty, quote unquote, not to store other people's junk data, essentially.
And I actually just put my vote as against.
But you can switch. I think the interesting thing I want to point out is you can switch.
You can change your mind based on new information. That is actually really cool.
And this is actually how the real world works. Like, if and how that relates to SIP is you may be against like the SIP 31, for example, at the beginning, and then you might switch your opinion as you go along based on new information. And the same with like Clarify. Maybe you are like neutral at the beginning, but maybe at some point you might switch like 4. And this is how sometimes people's mind really works when it comes to SIPs. For example, like we were talking about the ad block, we know extra additional information every time we ask a question. The dev answer give you extra data points and references, and then we start to form our opinions based on better information, and that's how we actually make decisions at the end of the day.
I would love to hear what specific to this and how it would actually affect programming and interacting with the Bitcoin blockchain from a Stacks perspective. I would love to hear what Rafa and Frieger actually, what their opinions are about BIP 110. Because actually,
the best person to ask is actually in Clarity Working Group, Setsus, because he's deep into Stack. He is really, really good with Bitcoin too. In fact, I saw a post of him wanting to make a proposal in the Bitcoin land. I think pure Bitcoin. So like to do with like multi-sigs and stuff.
I don't know what Rafa's handle is right now.
I don't think he voted. So maybe you need to search like Setsus. Oh, there you go. He voted.
He's against it. All right, that cements it. Your Hero's against it. Setsus is against it. My rudimentary, basic, fundamental understanding of what its impact makes me against it. I can see where it could potentially be beneficial to layer 2s that are looking to add programmable functionality to Bitcoin via like Stacks. If it did pass, like it could actually be a benefit to Stacks because it makes Stacks more necessary to be able to do certain programmable stuff. But I also think it might limit some of the ways that Stacks does engage in that stuff too. So
this proposal, essentially, there's no pass and fail. There's only which economic nodes majority are following the heaviest chain, basically. Like it's very different. There's no official vote there. This is just a way to recreate an opinion pool, if you like. An opinion pool is different to running nodes and running exchanges. None of the exchanges might be on here, but they are the one who deal the most transactions, economic transactions, and those are really the big players that are doing the nodes, which node version they're running, what type of node is running. So those are the real influencers of the consensus. But opinions, this is almost like a call to public opinions, if you like, that thing. Yeah, anyways.
So we have actually gotten a few more votes this morning.
Yeah, let's check how many people voted and what sort of status, how many millions and how many people.
And actually, before I do that, Tripp's made a comment. He asked if you can download the full vote results from any SIP. That would be a nice feature to showcase governance in the open. And I agree with him.
Oh, that's for sure. That's a great idea. I'm gonna throw it to 0.
Yes. All right.
Or this team, I think it is block survey team, or yeah.
Block survey. Yeah.
Or no, if it's that one or.
So what I'm looking at right now, we have a total of
7 million.
Just under 7 million. With
you do a refresh, see if there's any more.
I just refreshed.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
so
this is
43 million.
so
We
just under.
are how many off? We are 73 millions off by the stacking. How
Right.
many of those unlocked and unlocked?
Actually, we almost 1 million are unlocked, so we only have about just over 6 million. So we still need 74 million
Yeah.
locked STX to vote. Now I'm sure that I don't feel uncomfortable that we'll get to that number. To be honest, I think we will very easily because the large stakeholders will want to pass this. And or it would be weird if they didn't, since they haven't been pushing back in the last several weeks that we've been going over this. But it is important that everyone gets in and votes. You know, it's your vote matters. Your contribution is important. Even if you think we're definitely going to get to our threshold, we would rather not just get 80 million stacked votes. We want 800 million stacked votes. You know, there's 1 billion stacks out there right now. We should be getting way more than 10% of the stacked STX in the ecosystem contributing to the vote on stuff like this. So it's important. It's important that you guys vote, that you tell your friends, that you encourage your friends, you challenge your friends. I wonder if there's even a way to gamify this or make it more fun and engaging in some way. I do think that this new platform is great. But we do need to get more votes. And so right now we have, and nobody has voted against this, by the way.
That's good news. That's good news. I mean, I know some devs might be hesitant about the ad block, you know, like we always knew with Bryce. That's probably the most controversial proposal out of the three. I mean, the devs probably know the best, I hope, and they hope. We just have to trust them to ensure the directionally ad block isn't gonna break anything, and everything will function. And but since, you know, like devs have done their checks, I do hope there's nothing major with ad block, and if there were to have some issues, there are alternative ways to address that. So
honestly, I think that's a. So let me ask you this: what, just a scenario? What would happen if? Because I think we've determined that there are only 8 contracts that actually use the app block function at all. And those people are being actively reached out to see if there's if they can, you know, to kind of help get them migrated off of using it before it goes away, and or to see if there's any other reason why that they would need to. And that's been an ongoing process for weeks. So as of right now, not one person has come forward and said, no, I need this for X, Y, or Z. I think Set Zeus had indicated that there is use cases for it. But when we were talking with Bryce was that just last Friday? It was when we were talking with Bryce, he indicated that it was not. Oh no, it was 2 weeks ago. We were talking to Bryce. He had indicated that there were other ways. Him and or they had indicated that there were ways around it. So that there were other ways to effectively do the same thing. So yeah, we would. I don't think that this is going to be a big deal. But let's say something happens, it passes, and something we couldn't have predicted or found out ahead of time does cause some problems. Are the core devs empowered to roll back for the sake of the safety of the platform? Are they able to roll that back before it goes to before, like, if they find that after they implement the change that there was an issue?
I mean, rollback would mean just another fork, I guess. Like we could do another hard fork to perhaps fix any critical bugs. Like, yeah, so that fixing bugs can happen. Rolling back that function, I'm not sure. I think it's possible because with hard fork, essentially you're just everything is new and not the backwards compatible. So you probably just revive that function. So yeah, I think in my mind it's possible, but probably have to verify with the actual dev.
Cool. And so, worst case scenario, though, if there was a catastrophic situation, the devs aren't just going to be like, oh, we have to set up a whole new vote, make a proposal, and like they'll take the necessary steps to secure and stabilize the network.
I mean, if they must do a hard fork, they will propose that, right? We don't have to vote yes. We can indicate no, we shouldn't reverse a forward-going blockchain because past is past. You just have to find alternative way around it rather than a rollback of that feature, I guess. So you could argue both ways.
Well,
but,
and there might be other. They could. When I say rollback, it doesn't necessarily have to be a hard fork. It could be a patch or an update that has to
get
quickly to solve the problem. And
I mean, there might be patches that are not consensus breaking, and maybe they can figure out different optionalities, like one patches that's semi patch that's not consensus breaking, or like a hard patch that's consensus breaking. I think there are different ways to solve a problem at different criticalness level.
So there might even be a temporary soft patch pending approval of a consensus breaking fix.
I guess it's like a workaround, that kind of work okay, but not like getting to the root of the problem. And that's more like a soft fork, I guess, rather than a hard fork. I think there are different possibilities depending on the issues, really. Cool. Anyways, so that's going well. I think we still have how many days?
7 days. 7, almost 8 days.
Cool. Yeah, so that's going well. So let's check the technical cap minutes. I think you were interested in that. I was going to talk about that too, just to show people like behind the scenes. These are being reviewed by people in the caps. And what they do is we have 3 different caps, in case people didn't know: technical cap, governance cap, and economics cap. And for this specific upgrade, we've called upon technical cap and governance cap to review this. So technical cap got to, there were some vote being put forward within the, I believe, 7 people in the technical cap right now. And this PR essentially logs their voting progress, vote history. So you can check like who voted for what, if the majority gave it a thumbs up or is it a thumbs down. And it looks like 5 of the members voted. I think Bryce couldn't vote because I cannot see the names on the screen. Piece. If you scroll to the left,
that's because
I'll zoom out. Oh yeah, now I can. Yeah. So Bryce had to abstain because he is one of the key proposers of the hard fork. So in order to stay neutral, he had to abstain, but the rest other people voted, and it's like a majority yes, so no problem there. Oh yeah, you can see the log, and you can see like at the same time they just updated some wording, the description of Bryce.
Oh, okay. Yep. And so again, it's just considered SIP39 as a proposed update to Clarity to version 5. Additionally, there were 2 rider SIPs that were evaluated and will activate pending approval of SIP 039. And that's it. And a lot of this is, it also says up here that the discussion happened on Discord and it was asynchronous, which is actually very similar to the process for the governance cab. It was presented in the governance cab group that any consensus breaking SIP actually does need governance cab approval. And there was a vote passed, I believe. I don't think anyone voted no. I think we got a quorum full vote as the last time I checked. That also passed through.
Can you?
So is it required for us to actually post those minutes and post that?
Yes, you guys do. I know there was a lot of conversation. One of the lines, if you read the actual chat from Claire, was she asked if somebody be willing to put together basic minutes for the GitHub
in our Discord.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it the first time, please, I'm happy to help you. It's actually pretty easy.
It would just be like, basically look like this, but with different names.
Right. And essentially. And there's like a template you can copy from the past. But typically, this is done by Will Buddy, Jason, because he is the governance cab chairperson.
Cool. I don't know if this was here before or if I missed it, but this -2, can you see that?
It just means like some deleted text.
Okay, I didn't notice it before, so I didn't know if I maybe did something.
No.
Oh, you know why? All right, no, because I was looking over here, so it's got +62. This is why, because it's okay. All right.
GitHub is real funny. It's a funny Word document basically.
It's definitely it's an interesting tool, so to speak. But
so, like we touched on.
I love it now. It's just that there's a lot of. I love it because I have LLMs and that I can actually connect directly to the command line and have it review these things for me and just tell me what I need to know about it and find stuff for me and stuff. So it's
cool. So another agenda. Let's check SIP38 encrypted NFT. Want to circle back to pull request? So this one is Zenitron's proposal, which I know you guys talked about it just before we came on. It was awesome.
We only talked about it briefly, and I think
process was awesome. I think we did a really good job, us, and collaboration with different people. If you scroll down, because Zenitron asked what to do with it, I passed the message back to the foundation. So the editors changed the status from draft to accepted, and this means peace for you and everybody else.
Where do I see that?
One just before, at verified, next to verified, right?
Oh, changing from draft to accepted. Okay.
So this is like one little change that it's just a log of all the activities essentially. And that specific activities made the update to the tag of from draft to accepted, meaning this has basically passed the SIP editors and is now in the court of the cabs or singular cab. So this should be reviewed in theory by the relevant cabs, but I think the only relevant cabs here is probably the technical cab. So this should be sitting with them basically. So I just want to inform you.
This is non-consensus breaking. There's no vote involved, so it would just be cab approval at this point because it's already been accepted.
Yeah, it was just like an internal cab of approval.
So
they'll probably, make some comments, ask some questions, and then that's part of the process too. Like when the technical cab review this, they might not straight away think it's fully finalized. They want to make some changes, maybe not. Maybe they want to make suggestions. Maybe just simple inquiries, asking, "Oh, what about this? Have you thought about this?" And then Zenitron can jump in, "Hey, XYZ, blah blah blah," and then, "Oh, if all things smooth, like it could be the same as exactly what it is now. There might be even better suggestion that might evolve this during the cap review to an improved version, you know, and then you finalize that, people vote on that, and then happy days."
Nice. And I am curious to see how this gets applied beyond how Zenny's using it now. But we had a great time playing that treasure hunt game live, and that was the basis for this
Yeah, I remember that when I played that too. Had some, like, we had to collect like 12 words or meet with other people who have other words and stuff like that. That was cool. You know, it's basically like a private NFT. You don't review the other people on chain, something like that. That's cool. Yeah, it's all about adoption, really. Just, you know, we can make the best documentation. The caps can review it, but if nobody uses it, then it's just sitting there as a document.
Right. And
But
this
from a process perspective, that is great. That is advanced to the next stage. Now is on the caps.
68
table.
comments on this.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty engaging.
Yeah, great. So a lot of input, a lot of community engagement all around it.
Well done, everybody. Really.
So awesome stuff with this.
So
one.
next PR, next PR piece. Somebody submitted. I think it's paper to screen. His name is. He goes by Victor sometimes.
Yeah, I know him well.
And he added some documentation about. You know, maybe he's just helping other builders. The first one.
This one here, add SIP implementation guidelines.
Yeah, that's a new one. Only opened 18 hours ago. And if you go to files changed, that's the trick.
That's when you go to read the actual proposal.
That's the trick. And if you want to read it in an easier like format, go to the three dots there on the right. View file. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's it's just what it is. It's just there's a lot of friction in there for the average user that's not used to it. But this is definitely an easier way to digest the information.
Yeah. So he made some suggestions. I don't even know like what this about exactly, but I can have a guess. You know, like, you know, just helping other builders to integrate.
So for those of you who don't necessarily love reading, and or this code makes it really hard for you to actually try to understand what's being proposed, you can actually copy the raw file right here. Go into ChatGPT.
Yes.
And then this is where I was when I actually lost.
Do you know what? In fact, that's like one of the features on Zero Authority, right? You can just like click a link via the website. Trip a monkey. Yeah, GitHub is not for documentation.
You're right. It's, you know what though? It actually does work well for document management. It's just not designed for that. But
it's okay.
It's really, honestly, as far as now that I understand that you manipulate the files on your computer and then you commit them and push them up to the repo, it's actually really easy to have it be a place where you store and manage documents and give them access to people. It's just not.
I think the biggest advantage is you can see the progression of every single edit, like through the history. and you can see the different versions, how we in the future going to evolve SIP 000 to SIP 000 v2, for example.
Yeah.
Like it's good to have that history in a somewhat neutral place owned by Microsoft.
So is this just basically identifying the 3 or 4 types of token contracts that we have and trying to standardize usage or create rails to help?
I think it almost is like a guide. I think it's almost could be, when I look at it, like it could go into the Stacks doc or in SIP repo, but I guess because they're all SIPs. So yeah, I think it's like like advisory stuff of how you go about integrating it from scratch as a new builder, maybe. Anyway, so have a browse, read a little bit about it, see how it goes.
Oh, it
And
definitely tells me how I can apply some SIP10 and SIP9 tokens to DeOrganized towards the end.
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT knows what we're working on. I'm still not clear exactly what this is trying to solve, though, because it's really basically giving me the information on SIPs that already exist.
I think it's almost like a metadata to like additional guide, rather than having to individually look through the different documentations. Maybe this brings it together and makes it like easier overview, I guess.
Sure, maybe how the token contracts differ, why you would use one versus the other, and how you might implement that, and or even potentially using them together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but since it's submitted as a PR, let's get paper to screen on SIPCO next week for him to just tell us a little bit about the motivation behind it, explanation, that then we can, see whether it's a suitable place to have this guide in the SIP repo, or is it like better in Stacks docs,
Right. All right. So Stacks Docs is not in the repo, or is it in a different repo?
No, it's not in here. It's it has its Getbook, I believe. It's probably run by Getbook. But yeah, it has its own. I don't know if it has its own repo, to be honest. It must have, but it's not in the SIP repo. I don't believe it's in the core developers repo, like the network repo. Yeah, it's just somewhere else. Like there must be a repo. We just need to find the location for it, because once you find the location for it, you can easily contribute to that doc. So maybe if that's a suitable place, we might suggest paper to screen to submit his suggestions to the Stacks docs as a PR there instead of here. But I think both could be good. We just need to, we'll get him home to chat a little bit about it and see where we go. Maybe get a dev on,
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. Victor actually is always around. He's been on the show a number of times. Back before he was even before we even had DeGrand's cohort 3. His papers to screen project was in the works, and he actually came on to talk about it like over the summer. We were
right. Exactly.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show. He actually even showed up at GP's HODLMM boot camp last night. Saw him there. So
oh yeah, I think so.
We will definitely. Unless he's busy, we'll definitely have him on next Friday.
Cool. Next item, piece. Since you're so awesome in navigating GitHub now, I'll redirect you to another PR. Go back a page rather than because you're in his.
I'm in the wrong one. Yeah.
You're in his like GitHub. Yeah, perfect. Go to PR and go to. Let me check. It was. Go to SIP 42. So you remember last week we had conversation about archivable nodes and the incentives around that. Go to conversations. We actually posted comments about this, and the author, actually answered. So that's good.
You know, we were having that bug last week though, right? Because cool, I did get it. Okay, so
Yeah, you should get an email.
I did get an email, but I couldn't follow, and I was tied up. And do you remember we were having the bug where it was showing?
Yeah, the double comments. Yeah.
And yeah, so I wasn't sure if it was even showing up, and
Okay.
tied up. So we did get some answers there.
Yeah. Scroll up a little bit. Yeah, so this is the answer to your question. My interpretation that is basically out of scope, not within the scope of this technical implementation.
I don't even remember what I asked. Let me. What is the incentive for miners, stacking pools, core entities to maintain a full archival node? Okay, so this is out of scope for that. So that's the answer. It's not really part of the app block removal per se, even though that the purpose for removing it had to do with prune nodes, right? It was related, or
I mean, there is side effect from removing that. Therefore, that leads to your question, right? So it's a very legitimate question. It just like we cannot address that. There's more to it than the technical implementation doesn't. I mean, you could argue through this conversation, you could have just not do that, then it's fully required by everybody. But yeah, I mean, this is a really good conversation to have to reach a good conclusion, and you can only do it by having real conversation like this.
Right, and he did actually meaningfully reply, even though it's not really specific to the SIP, which I love. A huge shout out to Francesco, who was on the show with Bryce the other day, a couple weeks back, to talk about this. But he's saying he expects Stacks Labs to likely continue maintaining an archival node, which we speculated about, similar to current bootstrapping nodes, but it will be at the discretion of each operator. If an operator needs their node to answer historical queries, they will still be able to run a full archival node. The difference is that retaining the full history will no longer be a consensus requirement as it currently is because of @block. So it is relevant to the removal of @block because
it is very relevant.
It's just not required. It's not required of node operators, so it makes it easier for node operators or clearer for operators to work without having to have all of that bloat in the system pulling a full archival node.
Yeah, so if you do want to participate in Stacks in the future as a business partner, let's say, of various kinds, this should make your setup easier and less hardware intense.
So you will need access to an archival node to make historical queries, though.
Which will be run by Stacks Labs.
And
I think I think I wrote it down as well, documented it, is that you can reconstruct the archival node from your pruned node. So yeah, I don't know. So I think it's like kind of okay, it's fine. I'm not too worried about this.
Well, the blockchain's still there.
I do believe the conversation is worth asking so that we continue to understand the implications, or
the blockchain.
Like at the end of the day, who is going to run those? If we remove the altruism out of the equation, how do we make sure there's always the man of the last resort?
Right. Well, and does the blockchain only exist per the nodes that are actually maintaining the chain or proliferating the chain? So like if there was, if we had no archival nodes running, there's still the blockchain still exists, so you should still be able to create one from the chain, even though a node may not be carrying the archival information.
I think that could be making some certain assumptions. I don't want to go as far as that. Just because it's running, then we can recreate archivable node.
Right.
I suspect not.
I am not sure. I am not I'm not even making assumptions. I'm asking questions.
I think
that.
I think in the future we can ask the devs. I think we'll get the most accurate answers out of this.
Cool.
So at least your question is.
You know what?
If you have further questions, feel free to post in this. Reply.
We have our other deputy in the house, but I forgot. He didn't.
You forgot to add Haddy?
He's an hour late because he doesn't realize we changed the clocks ahead in the U.S.
Oh, yeah. I was confused on Monday, but yeah.
So,
Hey.
Sorry, my mic and headset weren't working for some reason, but now I can hear you.
So
you just told me I missed it again.
Well, it's understandable though. We are.
Then you can read the summary in Stacks forum. That I'll post later.
Yeah, exactly.
But to give you a rundown, Haddy, we talked about the SIP vote. We talked about Zenitron's SIP.
NFTs?
Yeah, that one is being advanced forward. And we talked about a new PR proposed by Paper to Screen or Victor. We talked about, we're currently on the topic of the conversation that we had last week, and the dev reply to Peace hasn't fully answered the end game solution per se. So my suggestion is just let's continue having that conversation, but let's have the devs on so that it's not going to be solved in one day. Basically, this is something that probably just is ongoing and probably worth continue having conversation about it throughout the year. Shall we move on to the final topic?
Yes.
I think we've gone over that. But yeah, just one little thing. I did ask a question about the dates. I think Francesca posted because I was just wondering what block is it saying, and Francesco said the block of activation is according to SIP39, because everything writes on SIP39, like SIP42 and SIP40 are rider SIPs of SIP39. So if we pass SIP39, by default, SIP42 and SIP40 would also pass. So they are a bundle, basically, a package. And in the package, instead of writing the dates for every package, just write the date of activation, the target activation in the master of that package, which is SIP39, Clarity 5 SIP. So if you actually go to SIP39 via that link and be able to find the date, can you find the date, please? Can you find the target block?
Well, he actually had it in that post, the target block.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, he listed it in there.
Can you find it from the raw document?
It doesn't have
There's a lot of block.
There's a lot of block. Because we're talking about app block. Let's see. Is it in here even? I don't know. Including any block, in a block, in a block, at the block height at which the voting started. No, that's not it.
Yeah, I think you're close. It's around here. Oh, there you go.
Nine-
If the SIP is
9:43. And so, just for everyone to know, Control F will bring up this little. Oh, you guys can't see it on screen because it's just above. Olivia, I can't. My screen. You guys can't see that. So Control F will get you this, and you can then search through all the locations where we had block, and it was actually the last one. It was number 14 was where we actually found the block height. But that's how you navigate if you're looking for specific words or terms. That also works well in most coding stuff too, like VSC. That's how you find
yeah.
it.
So and then you can do a search on that specific block time, but the estimation would be around end of March.
Right. And that's assuming this. So that's their target, right? If approved, that's when they're targeting it. But they might have some technical difficulties that come along even after the approval of the vote. It might not be that specific block.
Can happen, yeah. But at least from the global consensus, plebs, exchanges, whales, everybody gave them the go-ahead. That's it, so they can go ahead anytime they want if approved.
So
they should determine like when is a good time to actually go ahead and make it live without bugs, or they try their best.
So this is just a general target.
Yeah, that's an actual target. But yeah, general, if you like, it's not like if they found bugs, they would not go live on that block.
I only say that because there's been a number of times, specifically with like Nakamoto, that the target block that they were looking to implement changed several times. And so I take it with a grain of salt when they give us a specific block height.
Yeah.
So many. There was a number of times where I've like memorized the block height, started talking about it, promoting this is what's going to happen, and it changes. So it does change.
It can, for sure. There's no certainty because what we want is just make sure when we go live, it's as clean and as bug-free as possible. So the devs will determine that.
Cool. But
yeah, that's really everything today.
we need to before we can actually be comfortable about that. We need about 74 million more stacked STX to get in their vote. We only have 8 days to do it. So guys, get out and vote your stacks.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And last plug from myself, if you can go to Stacks Forum.
Yes, sir. Hold on, let me actually just fix this. So I'll format it here for GitHub.
So throughout the week, I was just gonna go over some of the calls from this week, but there you go. Yeah, there's more conversation. So just make sure you tune in to this website, Stacks Forum. What's the address?
Forum.stacks.org, and I'll drop it. I'll drop this in the comments under the live stream.
So make sure you keep an eye on it because there's been really a lot of valuable conversation. If you missed, like the AI BTC devs guys, they're like just driving the innovation forward so much. And what's the other call this week?
It was the blockchain call.
Blockchain call. There was a bit of chat about self-custodial Bitcoin. A bit of development update on that. So lots of update, and including the zip codes. You can go all the links. Just wanna and if there's anything you want to raise, like I see lots of people posting about the grants program under that thread that you're seeing with Reina. So yeah, it's a really good place to drop your comments, and ask questions, make sure you tune into this. Yeah, so that's the plug. And for the SIP vote, as you just said, we still need more voters and more of their votes. So make sure you follow the Stacks.org handle on X for updates.
Right on. I love it. All right, so guys, you can actually go right to the live stream pin post on the DeOrganized account on X. You can get the link to the forum, link to go vote. You can actually participate in the prediction markets over at Stacks Market. You can go over to Bitflow and maybe play around with the new HODLMM. I'll drop the SIP repo in there too, the Stacks SIP repo. I'll put that link in there as well, so you guys can actually go play around in there, get your feet wet, playing around in the GitHub. It's actually a great tool to start. The sooner you start learning, the more you can navigate around there, the better off you're going to be, no matter what you're doing. So highly recommended. Thank you, Hero, Haddy. Always a pleasure to see you, brother.
Any comments, Haddy? Anything you want to address or?
No, it's closing out. It's fine. I've dropped my comments on the Stacks forum anyway, of whatever concerns I had.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, we'll get picked up by the right people just in their own time.
Right on. So another great episode, informative of what is going on in Stacks and Stacks improvement proposals and community innovation here on the Stacks Network. We do this every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time here on DeOrganized, and this is your opportunity. Make sure you're following in the forum. Hero's actually making these updates. There are working groups meeting throughout the week on all sorts of things, so it doesn't end here. Stay tuned. We will actually be working on our playout engine and throwing out some content. Hopefully it works. We had a power outage this morning, so it may not be. I broke it last night, and I'm not sure I fixed it. But we will have the stream going for more content from Stacks throughout the day, and we will see you back here next Friday. As always, here on DeOrganized. Thank you, Haddy. Thank you, Hero. I am Peace, Love, Music, and another great episode of the Stacks Improvement Proposal. I believe this is episode 166, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct. 166.
That's cool.
I might run till the end of the month, just ahead, just to let everybody know. Let's see if the foundation wants more, or that's like for we do like a switch. But yeah, that's 166.
166 and counting. We have at least a handful more. Let's go. You all have a blessed rest of your day. Make sure you get out and touch some grass. It's the weekend. We've been working hard. We should take a break. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Haddy. Thank you, Hero. Have a great day.
Have a good one.
Appreciate you guys. Have a nice weekend.
Peace out.